Hear from our mentors, borrow a journey and discover your own. This is the TUC Homegrown Project, our EduVenture Human Library series. Today we are joined by Greg Blaze. Greg is a civil engineer who has worked locally here for our council as well as humanitarian work overseas. Greg will share with us his journey and the pathways and skills he has used to get where he is today. Thanks, Greg, for joining us today for our Taree University's campus Human Library. Greg, to start us off, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your work life. What does that look like?
Yes, I'm a civil engineer. I'm sort of approaching the end of my work life, so it's not as permanent. I don't have to have a permanent job. I can actually pick and choose a bit what I like to do, and if there are interesting things to do overseas, then I'll wander over and do them. So civil engineering, I'm mostly involved in project management now, which is looking after infrastructure construction. So if I was doing it here in the local community, it's more likely roads and bridges, which I have done with the council here over quite a few years. If it's in the humanitarian sector, which I do a fair bit of that, it's building warehouses, schools, hospitals, more recently fire stations in Samoa. So wow. It's quite broad. Yep.
So can you explain a little bit about what does that humanitarian work, like what does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, I started doing that. I was actually the Director of Engineering here at Taree I was here in Taree from 95, I think, to about 2009. I took 3 months off to do long service leave, and as part of that I went to Somalia. There was a war going on there at the time, building warehouses for the World Food Programme. So wandered over there for 3 months and loved it. It was great, good adventure, you know. Had the skills that you've developed in local government to go and do those things. So yeah, wandered over there, did 3 months and ended up staying for 5 years. So
wow.
It's yeah, having the skill set for civil engineers, you can take it to a number of different locations.
That's amazing. And what was your pathway to becoming an engineer?
Well, I was good at maths and science. Well, I was sort of good at science as a kid. So my brother was an electrician actually, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I thought I'll do engineering, I'll do electrical engineering, and got a job at BHP, the steel maker in Newcastle. Did that for about 3 years and didn't like it. So when I swapped over to civil, and then wandered through a few different areas, sort of did some consulting work for a while, ended up in local government, which was quite good. Work-life balance was very good in local government, and then moved over to humanitarian engineering probably 15 years ago. Been doing that, doing some of my own consultancy work, so it's quite variable, I'd suggest.
Yeah, great. And what are some of those, you touched before on skills, like what are some of your personal skills that have contributed to your work as an engineer?
Yeah, I think in the early stages of an engineer's life, your technical skills probably have to be pretty good. So you're doing design, looking at technical elements, stormwater, road, drainage, a number of different areas. But the further you get into it, it's more management skills. So you're managing people and money pretty much through construction contracts, those sorts of things. I think in probably the last 10 years, it's been more managing those things, but also mentoring younger engineers, teaching them how to manage their own projects. And certainly the humanitarian area, you're wandering over to areas where they don't have the skill set, otherwise they wouldn't be asking for it. So when you go to those places, you are pretty much the only person. So you're teaching the local people how to manage their own projects, which is really rewarding, very satisfying.
Amazing, that's, yeah, wonderful. What is it that you love? What do you love about engineering?
My wife and kids would sort of laugh a bit because every time I drive past something I mention, oh, I built that. Some of the things in Newcastle, like the big stadium, I built that. And of course, you know, I had a very small fraction of building it. Or the main street here in Taree, I built that back in 2000 when the bypass was put in. But again, you have small bits and pieces, but you feel like a part of you is in there. And it's always good to be doing things in your community or somebody else's community, because you're contributing to their lives and to your own family and friends' lives as well.
Yeah, excellent. And what do you think, like, what are your personal values, you know, particularly, I guess, around that humanitarian work? You know, what kind of led you into that?
I think, it's about contributing to either your community or somebody else's community. That's always been a part, I think, of why I do engineering, is to actually have that contribution. But when you do it in another location where there's a genuine need, there's a lot of satisfaction in that. So you're doing a job where you get, well paid, but you're still out there doing things that people need, and it is very satisfying.
Yeah, excellent. And Greg, if you could give one piece of advice, either if you think about your younger self, what would you tell yourself back when you were at high school?
If I was in high school, I'd say, just do it. As I said, I didn't really understand what and where I wanted to go, but if you have a go at the subjects that you're doing, whatever they are, that'll work out well for you. A piece of advice I would have, I guess, for people who are at university or completed university is keep studying, keep thinking about what your future will be. Whatever you do in terms of study will help you into the future. And I've had that a couple of times where I've applied for jobs, and because I have other qualifications, it's been helpful. So I'd say just do it.
Excellent. Perfect. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for joining us today and being a part of our Human Library.
Pleasure. Thank
Excellent.
you.
That's good.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Engineering's so broad.